Hi, Mark here. Recently I was reading the comments on one of my videos and somebody asked, why don't you do a series on fishing lakes, how to do it? And as I read the comment, I thought, that's a great idea. Now, rather than putting together one long, boring video on everything I know about fishing lakes, I've decided to do a few shorter videos, and this will be the first. I'm going to call this series Fly Fishing Lakes 101. Okay, this first one has to do with how to read lakes, how to read the water on lakes. If you're unfamiliar with a new body of water, that's what this is going to cover. Let's talk a little bit about reading the water in lakes. Okay, so a lot of people are confused. They know how to read streams. You can kind of tell from the currents and everything what's going on. It's harder in lakes. It's just different in lakes. What we'll do is, if you'll look back over my shoulder, you'll see that there's kind of a flat, sloping valley that kind of comes into this end of the lake. It is also surrounded by, the edge of the lake is surrounded by cattails and reeds. That sloping, that gentle slope, you can kind of assume that that will continue on under the lake, and that will have a weed bed. And as I've said once, and I'll say it again and again, on a lake, weed beds are the cafeteria. That's where the majority of the food is found. That's where you'll find feeding fish. Okay, so if you look around this way, you'll notice there's a much steeper grade into the lake, and that grade continues down into the water. And so you can assume that there are steeper banks along that shoreline, and that, sure enough, that's true, that's deeper water, although it takes a while for it to get, say, below 10 or 15 feet there. So there's a good strip along there that also contains weed beds. Now you'll see that grove of trees back behind me. That's all kind of relatively flat too, and so there's actually a flat along this section of reeds and grass and cattails. And then you're looking at an area, again, right behind me. I'm going to turn, and you'll see that the lake, there's a steep hill that comes in, so you can imagine that that is going to be steeper water down in there. There's going to be more deep water. But there is, strangely enough, there's like about a good 20 feet or so that is weedy all along there, because it doesn't just drop straight in. It actually kind of gradually deepens out right there. And as a result, I mean, that's kind of one of the ideals that you have, is that you have good weed beds that are close to deeper water. So fish can come up and enjoy the food that's on those weed beds, and if they feel threatened, deep water is really nearby. So, you know, that's very attractive to fish. So that's just a little bit on reading the water on lakes. The other part of this is, you know, you can tell a lot by the topography, but the way you really find out is you cruise the shoreline, and you find the weed beds that way, where the weed beds are, where the deeper areas are, where what seems to hold fish, what doesn't hold fish, you know. And so you're also looking for rise forms and things like that that'll tell you where the fish are holding. So I hope that helps you. Okay, and now a last word about what we just talked about, you know, fishing lakes, a new body of water to you, how to read the water. Now, when I go to a lake, what I'll typically do is, you know, there are a number of food items that you can fish a lake with, but if you're unfamiliar with the water, one of the best ones to pick is a leech. And what I typically do is I will troll the edges of the lake going around. Now, I've read the terrain around, and I'm just hopefully confirming what I think I saw on the lake and finding out where the best weed beds are, where the best spots are to find fish. So I will troll the edge of the lake all the way around. If it's a bigger lake, then I'll just troll the area that I'm able to, that'll be for that day, and learn as much about that water as I can. And while I troll, my eyes are fixed on the water, because I'm looking for other clues too, like chironomid husks, mayflies, anything that might be occurring on the water that gives me a clue as to what I should be fishing. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like. It helps the channel, it helps the video be more easily findable. Also hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you're notified of any videos that come. Thank you so much for watching.